Hey, welcome to the channel. I'm Robbie, and this is the place we talk about complex gear and how to make it more simpler. Today we're talking about how to use the manual mode to get cinematic quality footage. That is, you're going to turn this top dial right here over to the camera symbol. And once you turn it to the camera symbol, you're going to have some options, and your screen as it comes up is probably going to look a little different than mine. I've got some of my settings changed on here, but you're going to give shooting modes here. Up in this top left-hand corner, you're going to go from auto exposure, which is going to do all the thinking for you, which is really great. But again, if you want to get some more control over the shot, which is how you're going to get those cinematic shots, you need to put it into manual mode. And so we want to hit the Q button if you're not there, and then hit the manual exposure mode. And what you might see instantly is that the screen gets a lot brighter. And so what you're gonna have to do is learn to control your shutter speed and your aperture, or your f-stop, in order to compensate for that. So that's the number one way to get cinematic footage, is to begin to shoot in manual mode. Is you want to look at your frames per second, or FPS. And the way you view that is by hitting the Q button, and then you can hit this third option down, and it's going to give you a lot of different options. So 4K is nice, but there is a bit of a crop on the 4K that it is going to cut your image in just a little bit in order to give you that 4K. So if you're wanting a wider shot, then really the best you can do is to shoot the 24 frames per second, and that has been known as just kind of the standard frames per second to use for cinematography, is 24 frames per second. Now, if you want to get slow motion footage, well, then you need to shoot at a higher frames per second in order to slow things down. But if you want slow motion, you get to 60 frames or even higher on that. And a lot of your cell phones can go higher, sometimes degrading the quality a little bit. Your GoPros, action cameras can get all of that higher frames per second. I like to shoot in the 60 frames per second, and that's 59.94. And so I'm getting full 1080p, high definition, but then I'm shooting at 60 frames per second. If you see in this footage here I have on a family vacation, we're just on the beach here, and I'm shooting my family, and the sun's coming up over the beach, and their kids are just playing, and this is 60 frames per second. I've got this mounted to a gimbal, and the gimbal is showing, and is giving me that nice steady shot that we can do. They say there's a 180-degree rule, and there's a standardization here, really in the movie industry, that mimic how the eye sees. That cinematic movies, we want to double the frame rate on this. So let me give you this breakdown. I'll throw it on the screen. Because the next thing we need to do is we need to control our frames per second, and then we need to control our shutter speed. And so if we are shooting at 24 frames per second, then we just want to double that. And the closest we can get to doubling that is a 1/50th of a second, which I have here as an option. So if we were to change it and jump to 30 frames per second, then we'd want to bump this up to 60. And so we're just doubling that. So if we're going to shoot at 60 frames per second, then we need to match that with our shutter speed, and we need to get up as close to 120, double that as we can. And that's going to look like on this 1/25th of a second. And that's going to make sure that we're not getting the stuttering motion. Well, the problem that we run into is that when you really can't control how much light is coming into the camera, you have to have more light. Photography is literally word light writing. You have to have more light if you want to take pictures. And a lot of times we're wanting to shoot indoor. Maybe you're shooting indoor soccer and the pictures, they're all blurry. Why? Because there wasn't enough light coming in. So a couple of different ways you can fix this. One is a flash just for photography. Two would be some sort of external light that you could throw on. I have a couple lights here over top of me. You can grab an external light like this from Neewer, and it's fully adjustable. We can turn it on, and we can adjust on the back the brightness. Also, we can adjust the white balance on it. Rechargeable. It's got a magnet on it. It can stick to things. Pretty cool. On it also has what they call a cold shoe mount on the top of it here, so it can attach directly to the top of your camera, and then you just lock it down, and now I'm good to go. The second thing you need is something called depth of field. What depth of field usually it means is just basically, you see those shots where everything's really blurry and we look at one thing and then we go to the next, and you can see on screen right here. Well, what that is your aperture or your f-stop. It's how much light is coming into the lenses. And now lenses all have a specific kind of eye. It's an iris inside that says how wide it can go open. So the lower that number goes, the wider actually that lens is open, meaning more light that it comes in. It also means the shallower your depth of field, or how blurry that image is going to be behind you. And so if you want kind of that portrait with that blurry background, yes, there are some programs that can make that happen. Your iPhone has that now built in with a portrait mode where it blurs the background, but you're going to see that it's all electronic because maybe their arm's sticking out, and through the the hole in their arm, you're going to see, well, that's not blurry. Well, that's because the lens isn't actually doing it. It's all electronic making it happen. So if you want a lens to do that, you're going to look for something that is, it will say on the lens something like f4, f2.8, f2, f1.8, 1.4. The lower that goes, the blurrier you're going to be able to make your backgrounds, and that's going to help make that cinematic. So you need more light and you need more depth of field. One of the lenses I highly recommend, and you can pick this up for $300 to $400, is the Sigma 16 millimeter f1.4 lens. It isn't that big, adds a little bit of size to your camera, but what it's going to do is allow you to shoot nice and wide on some shots. You can mount it, handhold it on Joby GorillaPod, or put it on a gimbal, and you're going to be able to shoot really wide. Adds a little bit of weight to it. The shot you're seeing again of my kids running on the beach, this shot is taken with a 16 millimeter f1.4 from Sigma, the variable ND filter on the front. You can see here, just shot at 60 frames per second, but not a lot of light coming in on the beach. But because I have it wide open on the aperture, it's bringing a lot of light into it. Hey, be sure to smash that subscribe button, like this video, share it with somebody if it helps you. Leave a comment below. I'd love to talk with you. What did I miss? What would you add to this? Where did I get wrong? Let me know.